Gary, I think this is the fourth time or third time you've had to speak about this today, but we're going to do it again. Congratulations on winning the Manager of the Month award. I know you don't like to take the praise on yourself, so how much of a reflection has it been in the work that's been done in the month?
Yeah, I think it's a reflection on everyone at the club. I mean, that's the way I look at these type of awards. It's in some ways it's a shame that it just says Manager of the Month, because I think it's a collective performance, it's a collective effort, and it's an opportunity really, I suppose, for me to thank all the staff that have worked so hard, thank the players that have worked so hard, people behind the scenes. Yeah, I think it's a culmination really of coming in and people buying into the ideas and really working incredibly effectively and efficiently to try and bring those ideas into practice, because of course you can't do everything on your own, and yeah, it's nice to be able to recognise that, I think, and be rewarded for that.
But you're saying about the coaching staff having to buy into it, the players will be the same as well, but to look at yourself, you must have to do something to try and get all those people in this organisation to buy into what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. I think that's like any sort of leader of any team or whatever that might be. Of course, you have to try to create an environment that people want to work hard in. You want to support people to show their expertise and show what they're about, and have that little bit of autonomy to do that. And you need to create a structure that the players feel comfortable in and can, accentuate the positive aspects of their play within it and get good results. So yeah, obviously that's a huge part, but I don't think you can do that if people don't buy into what you're doing and fully commit to it. And I think that's what everyone's done, and we're really pleased with the results so far.
I feel like when a new manager comes in or players come in and people ask what's it like at the club, everyone always says, oh yeah, the people are great. But when you come in and you actually then work with this group and now we get these results, what is it specifically about the people that are in the coaching staff, the analysis, the chefs, everything? What is it about the club that you found that has made it great?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things really that stand out. I think one thing is that everyone's, there's a lot of good people, and everyone says that, but sometimes you go into clubs and there's people there that maybe see a new manager as someone they don't really want to work with because they might have allegiances to the previous manager or however that works. I've had absolutely none of that here. Everybody's been on board, everybody's been very, very open to ideas and work with that. And the second bit is there's a real quality here. I think there's a real quality not just to the playing staff, there's a real quality to the support staff around the building, and I think that's important. I think if we want to get somewhere as a group of staff and players, we need to be able to support the players with really, really high level work. And I think that's what Championship football's about. Being able to sustain the amount of games in the period of time that we have means there's a lot of work goes into recovering, preparing the players, preparing set pieces, preparing the tactics, the logistics, everything. There's a million things go into it. So. I think they're the two things really. I think you look at the character of the people at the club, and I think that's been a really high level, and so is the quality.
It was 6 games across January that we stayed undefeated in, 3 wins and 3 draws. I actually just want to go back to the first game of January away to Millwall on New Year's Day, our first away victory of the season, and after just coming off the back of 2 home wins, as somebody that was in the stands, maybe people that were watching it, that felt like a really significant one. Did it feel like that at the time? And do you think that's been a really important step in getting that first away victory for everything else that's followed?
Yeah, I think so. I think every sort of first is a big one because mentally you've overcome that hurdle, and that hurdle doesn't then last for another 5, 6, 7 games. And I think it's really important. I think we still need to massively improve our away form. I think having only won 1 game so far this season is not brilliant, and we need to improve that. But I think that game against Millwall just felt like we broke another barrier. I think the first 2 home games coming in to win those, and then winning that game, I think felt like a big victory, and that maybe gave us the confidence to then go and compete well in the other away games. So yeah, I think it's hard to create anything that's more significant than something else, but. I think that first away win was a big barrier to overcome.
And after the success of January, I know that it'll be the case of trying to create the next run of results to go undefeated again. That'll start against Derby County next Tuesday night, a team that you know extremely well. Just what type of challenge will that be for us to go to Pride Park?
Yeah, big challenge. I mean, there's going to be 30,000 Derby fans there, which is always a difficult atmosphere to play in front of, because they support their team through thick and thin. And you know, whilst Derby haven't been going through their best patch of form at the moment, they've got good people there. They've got good coaching staff. They've got some good players, and you know they know how to compete in this division. And you know, when you're on one thing, when you're not on a good run, is at some point you work hard enough that turns around. So we have to make sure that we're not the team that turns around again. Of course, they've got a game beforehand. But yeah, I say it all the time. I would never ever turn up at any away ground thinking that we have any sort of divine right to win a game. We don't. We have to work really, really hard, and we have to compete first and foremost against a very competitive Derby County team that you know, are very physical, very athletic. So
I'm sure for the supporters, they'll probably look at the next two games: Derby away, Portsmouth at home. When you're playing against teams that are below you in the table, maybe we'll put that game in a higher pedestal than any other one because of the significance of it potentially. Does that come into your thinking at all, or is it just the same as really any other game?
Same as any other game, really. I don't see it any different to the Burnley game. I don't see it any different to you know, the Coventry game, the Watford game, whoever we've got to play further down the line. I don't really see any game as different. I understand how other people see it as different and maybe has, like you say, more significance. But I think if you start to think about the teams down the bottom of the league, that it has more significance. That means that that's what we want to compete against, rather than we're competing against every team in this division. You know, every game there's 3 points. I believe that, you know, if we're playing Leeds at home, I believe we have an opportunity to go and get 3 points just as much as maybe, you know, playing Portsmouth at home in a week's time. So every game is winnable. Every game is losable. And you just have to, it's just a process of week to week to make sure that you're in a good position to go and compete in those games and show what we're all about. And you know, whatever the result is, you move on quickly and you prepare for the next game. That's I don't grade the games in terms of significance, but I understand how maybe the fans, it feels a little bit like that way.
Yeah. On that point of where we see ourselves competing, are you starting to see a lot more from the team, even in the game against Burnley, which ended in a defeat, that this group can be a sustainable club that is fighting not at the bottom of the table but aspiring to push further up?
Yeah, I saw that when I first come into the club. I think that's why I wouldn't have come into the club if I didn't see that, I think. But yeah, I think you look early on, and we have to prove that. We have to prove that not that we are or we can be, but we're at least capable of that. And I think if you look in the first 10 games, we're more than capable of producing performances to be very, very competitive against any team in this division. And this is what the division is about. It's about consistency. So, you know, as to where that leads us over the next 4 months or the next, you know, 4 years is very different. But I think our ambition has to be that we want to be able to compete at that level. You know, and that's what we have to aspire to. I thought the Burnley game showed us a little bit the levels of the division. I think there's another massive improvement for us to go again, to be able to compete really against those sort of teams. You know, and I think that's something we need to aspire to.
And finally, no game this weekend, Gary?
Oh, thank the Lord. I like these free weekends. That wasn't me trying to get out of the FA Cup on purpose, by the way. But
yes.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with a free weekend. It gives us a chance to prepare, gives us a chance to get ready. And certainly not having a long away journey somewhere is a luxury we don't mind affording.
Well, enjoy your weekend. Thank you.